Hey folks, welcome back. I have your latest home prices and insights for the City of Toronto for week ending August 31st, 2022. Summer's over, not officially, but real estate wise, summer's over. We are into the fall market now. I do expect more listings to be coming onto the market, more listings than what we've been seeing over the course of the summer. But let me tell you how crucial pricing is right now. You know, when you went out into the market and the sellers that listed in the summer or the spring even or beginning of the year, it's easy to think, and it would be true to think, I have lots of runway, lots of time. Let me experiment with a higher price, and if I don't get it, no problem. I could cancel and relist or change the price, and you know, if it takes me a little bit longer to sell, it's okay. That mentality is going to really hurt you now in the fall. In September, you go out onto the market. If you're not selling in a relatively reasonable length of time, the runway is a lot shorter. If you're not selling now, you're going back onto the market again after Christmas. For a lot of people, they don't want to be on the market when the snow's flying around. So you have a short runway now. It's crucial to get the right price. We recently took out buyers to see two properties literally around the corner from each other. We parked in one spot, we walked to both showings. That's how close they were. One property has been on the market for 40 days. The other property, when we saw it, it was 7 days. 3 days later, it had sold. So it sold in 10 days, and the other property over 40 days still on the market. Very, very, very similar homes. One sold in 10 days, one is still on the market, and it had to do with price. Price was a big factor there. One had the right price, and one is not sold. Now, that seller that hasn't sold, they could be thinking, there's no way I'm going to sell at that lower price. And that's fine. That's the seller's prerogative. So if the seller's thinking, I'm not going to sell at that low price, then the seller's probably right. They're just not going to sell. And if it's not going to sell, when do you want to know that? Do you want to know that up front, say at the listing presentation? Or do you prefer to know that after you've been on the market for a month and a half? I think it's better to know the price up front. You need a reasonable expectation of knowing what your home is going to sell for before you make that final decision to say, yes, I'm going to put my home on the market, because it's a lot of work to be on the market. Anyways, moral of the story, get the price right up front. It's more important now in this market than any other time of the year. And the numbers I'm showing you gives you a really good but general idea of what the market as a whole is doing. It's by no means a way of pricing your home. If you think this information could help somebody you know, please pass it along. Let's get into the numbers. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video in the description, you'll find a link to a calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. This way I'll know ahead of time, and I'll make sure my schedule's organized so I have the time to talk with you about whatever's on your mind. It's truly a team effort here at Team Sessa Real Estate. If you watched last week's videos, you would have noticed that it wasn't myself doing them. That was my son who stepped up. I wasn't available. My son Daniel stepped up, did the market reports. He's normally on the other side of the camera. He's the one who puts all these videos together. But last week he did the reports. I think he did an awesome job. 25%. What does a 25% price drop mean for Toronto real estate? Well, let me show you a chart. This is not the usual charts that I put up on a weekly basis. This chart is broken down by month. I'm going way back. So I've got from August 2022 here, so this August that just passed, all the way going back to March 2018. So I'm going back more than 4 years, and highlighted in black, I've got every August going back each year. So August 21, August 2020, August 2019, and August 2018 is here. And with the arrows and percentages, I'm basically looking at what is it going to take to get our prices to 2020 prices, to 2019 prices, 2018, and so forth. Well, to get to last year's price, we actually, currently for August, average sold price is $1,648,000. It's already lower than last year's average sold price by 1.7%. I'm just looking at the arrows going this way. To get to August 2020 prices, we have to come down 8.6%. So let's say 9%. Can you see our current average sold price? It's already come down quite a bit from the peak. Could you see it coming down another 10%? I think most people can. I don't see it as a complete craziness thinking there's room for 10% more price drop. So I can see that. Well, to get to 2019 or 2018, 2019 average sold prices were pretty much the same. So to get to 2018, 2019 prices, we have to come down 24.8%. So say 25%. Could you see a home that is currently selling for $1.6 million selling for 25% less? 25% less would mean $400,000 or more less. So a $1.6 million home selling for $1.2 million, that one is just not as easy to accept, for me anyways. I'm having a hard time thinking that a home that today sells at 1.6 in 6 months or a year from now is going to sell for 1.2. I just have a really hard time accepting that. You tell me what you think in the comments below. Good or bad, disagree with me, agree with me, but can we get to 2018, 2019 prices? Well, to do that, we have to lower our current prices by 25%. Is that possible? Let's get into our regular program. Oh, sorry, before I say that, before I get into the regular program, I have here for the months of inventory broken down by months. For the month of August, months of inventory is sitting at 2.7 months of inventory. So we've seen them. January, they were at a low of say 1.11, and we've seen in April, May, June, July, they've been going up, but August prices or months of inventory came down a little bit to 2.7. So our regular programming here. This is for the City of Toronto, detached properties only, broken down by week. Sales been pretty steady for the last couple of months. So for week ending August 31st, 114 detached properties were sold, which is a bit higher than what we've seen the last few weeks in August. So 114 detached properties were sold. 23 were at $2 million or more, which is also a little higher than what we've seen for the last 2 months. Average sold price for week ending, this is not the month now, for week ending August 31st is $1,521,000, and you've just seen the trajectory come way down. But if we compare it to last year, $1,521,000 is 5% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago. But comparing it to last year, comparing it to the peak, that was a year ago. It doesn't matter what's happening then. What's happening right now, today, and the trend that we're on really is the most important part, especially if you're looking to transact. If you're looking to buy or sell, doesn't matter what happened a year ago. Doesn't matter what happened 3 months ago. Right now, what's happening, that's what's really going to influence your decision. Well, if we look at average sold price, we said it's 5% lower. Median price is 3% lower year over year. Again, that's compared to a year ago. What about the trend? Well, we can see what's happening here in these dotted lines. What that is a 4-week moving average. That's what that is. So we've taken 4 weeks, averaged it out, and put it there. And you could see over the last 2 months here, it is, prices have been coming down. I'm looking at the dotted line. But if we take the last month, August, prices have been pretty much steady for average sold price. And if we look at the median price in the last 4 weeks here, median price has been pretty much steady. Still, kind of median price looks like it's trending slightly down, but not by a lot. You know, it's just above the 1.3 million here, and here we're just below the 1.3 million. So for the last 4 weeks, for the month of August, detached prices in general across the city of Toronto have been pretty stable. They've not been trending downwards as aggressively as they were before. Let's look at sales. Of the 114 that sold, 33%, so a third, sold at list price or more. Now, we've seen it come down quite a bit to where it was 25% a quarter. It's been creeping up almost every week now to where 33% are selling at list price or more. Year-to-date sales, 28% fewer sales this year versus what we were selling last year. Listings, well, 203 detached properties were listed. We've seen listings coming down. Active listings is much lower, 1,201 active listings, properties available for sale right at the end of the week of August 31st, and 8% fewer listings year to date this year versus last year. Months of inventory for this 1 week is sitting at 2.4 months of inventory. So we've seen months of inventory go up, which shows prices coming down. And now months of inventory is coming down slightly, and we're seeing prices leveling off. That's kind of what we've been seeing for the month of August right now. Let's look at Toronto broken down into 3 sections: West, Central, and East. And a close look here at West Toronto. And again, this is just for detached properties. 36 detached properties were sold. Average sold price for West Toronto, $1,279,000, which is 8% lower than where the average price was a year ago. Median price of $1,128,000 is 4% lower than where the median price was a year ago. So overall, average and sold price lower than last year's, but look at the trends. You could see the trend line here. Now, again, this is a 4-week moving average. Well, for average sold price, if we look at the last 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, the trend line is going up, and now it's going down a little bit. For median price, really the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, it's the median, the dotted line, it's been pretty steady. So prices haven't been moving too much there. Months of inventory is sitting at 2.9 months of inventory for West Toronto. And sold at list price or more for West Toronto, 19%. Toronto as a whole was 33%, 19% for West Toronto. Let's look at Central Toronto. Huge fluctuations in price just because of the amount of luxury properties selling or not selling. 34 detached properties were sold in Central Toronto. We've not seen that kind of number, 34, in 2 months. So 34 seems to be a good week when we talk about how low sales are. 34 were sold. 18 were sold at $2 million or more. Average sold price for Central Toronto is $2,176,000. $2,176,000 is 6% lower than last year's average sold price. The median price is $2,001,000, which is 14% higher than last year's median price. And again, if we look at the 4-week moving average, for average sold price, it's actually been going up over the last 4 to 6 weeks. For median, it's been pretty steady. And months of inventory for Central Toronto sitting at 3.1 months of inventory. 27% of the properties sold in Central Toronto sold at list price or more. Here's East Toronto. 44 detached properties were sold. 2 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price has been coming up over the last few weeks. It's now sitting at $1,214,000. $1,214,000 is 6% lower than what it was a year ago. Median price of $1,100,000 is 8% lower than where median price was a year ago. And if you look at the 4-week moving average, the dotted line, for average sold price over the previous 6 weeks, it's been coming down. So average price has been trending down. And for median, it has been trending down, but not at the same pace. Median price has been a little bit more steady over the last 4 to 6 weeks. If we look at months of inventory for East Toronto, which is East York and Scarborough basically, months of inventory is sitting at 1.6. 48% of the sales done in East Toronto were at list price or more. It's a lot more active East Toronto, the market, than other parts of Toronto. Here's a quick summary. Most of the sales are being done in East Toronto, although East Toronto does have the lower average sold price, does also have the lower median price, but the most amount of properties are selling at list price or more, and it does have the lowest months of inventory sitting at 1.6. Semis. 26 semis were sold. 6 of those were at $1.5 million or more. The price for semi-detached has been going up. It's now sitting at $1,287,000. $1,287,000 is 8% higher than last year's average sold price. The median price is $1,103,000, which is 1% higher than last year's median price. And you could see the 4-week moving average. For average sold price, it has been coming down. And for median price, it has been coming down. Months of inventory is 2.3 for semi-detached properties. 42% of all semis that were sold, we only sold 26, sold at list price or more. Let's look at townhouses. 18 townhouses were sold. That was a pretty good week for sales in townhouses. These are just freehold townhouses. 18 were sold. One of those was at $1.5 million or more. And $1,069,000 is 5% lower than last year's average sold price. Median price, $1,108,000, is 14% higher than last year's median price. Sales are so low in townhouses and in semis also that you see these huge price fluctuations. If we take the moving average, the 4-week moving average, we can see that moving average prices have actually been coming down. We can compare the 1 week that we're in now, August 31st, and say, well, median price is 14% higher. But if we look at the moving average, it's actually been coming down. Months of inventory for townhouses sitting at 1.3, and although 18 were sold, only 18, a third of those did sell at list price or more. Condos, what's going on with condos? Well, I could tell you 173 condo apartments were sold in the city of Toronto for week ending August 31st. 14 of those sold at $1 million or more. Average sold price is sitting at $743,000. $743,000 is 6% higher than last year's average sold price. And median price is also 6% higher than last year's median price. Median price now is sitting at $665,000. If we look at the 4-week moving average, it's trending down. The last 4 weeks, though, it's been pretty steady. For median, we're seeing a slightly more decline in median price than what we're seeing with average sold price. Of the 173 that sold, 27% sold at list price or more. Year-to-date sales, we have 29% fewer condo sales this year than what we were selling last year, year-to-date. Listings, we have 5% fewer listings. Now there was a mistake in last week's active listings, which also was a mistake in last week's months of inventory. It's been corrected on this chart here. A little bit of a typo, sorry about that. Months of inventory right now is sitting at 3.4 months of inventory. And you can kind of see what's happening here. As months of inventory go up, you can see average prices coming down. And now months of inventory has been over the month of August pretty steady. Well, that's what's happening with prices. They've kind of leveled off a little bit. So August, for many property types and in many areas, we have seen a leveling off of prices. And this is where buyers are starting to feel a little bit more confident in coming back into the market. We're seeing sellers, or I expect to see sellers, coming back and listing their properties in the fall market right now. Here's a quick summary. Some months of inventories are up, some are down, but you know, we are far away from saying we're in a buyer's market, which is over 6 months of inventory. And in many areas, we're just getting close to a balanced market type of category. That's the report for this week. There's lots going on. September is going to be really interesting. And you know, we're going to have the numbers for you every single week. Have an awesome day.